This is the study of multiple representation. That means you are given a graph, you're given a table, you're given an equation, maybe you're given a verbal description, and you have to interrelate it to each one of them to be equivalent because they all mean the exact same thing. For example, I'm going to tell you a story about this. Colin works at Walmart. If if he works for 10 hours, he'll make $80. If he works for 20 hours, he'll make $160. If he works for 30 hours, he will make $240. At the end of the week, he worked for 40 hours and he made $320. How much does he make per hour each hour? So now, using those numbers I said in my story, I can graph it. So I made a graph. As you see here is the time worked, and here's the amount earned. And then in this table, you see the time worked in hours and amount earned in dollars. So you know what? It's time to fill out this table. So if he worked 10 hours, he will make $80. If he worked 20 hours, he will earn $160. If he works for 30 hours, he will earn $240. If he works for 40 hours, he will earn $320. So before we continue on, so we have a graph, we did a verbal description about Colin, and we have a table. Which one is the dependent and independent? So we're bringing in more terminology. Dependent, which one depends on what? So let's think. The time worked in hours depends on your amount of earned in dollars. Does that make sense? Or does the amount you earn in dollars depends on the time worked in hours? I think the second one makes more sense. Because the amount you earn depends on how many hours work. The more money you make is because you work more hours. So this must be the dependent, and this must be the independent. So these four numbers represent the dependent numbers, quantities, and while these four numbers represent the independent quantities. So the dependent variable is amount earned, or the Y, and the independent variable is time worked, hours, or X. So now let's find the relationship. What is the relationship between 10 and 80? Is it a multiplicative or an additive? What's the relationship between 20 to 160 and 30 to 240 and 40 to 80? I think the relationship is multiplicative. Why do you say that? Because I believe you're multiplying by 8. So it's y equal 8 groups of x. Another way, some kids write it as y equal x times 8. I have other kids who write it as y equal 8x. This is the more preferred way of writing it. So we have what does that mean? So that means y represents the amount earned depends on 8 times the hour. So that means a person must make $8 each hour. And then we can see that through our table, our equation, our verbal description, and our graph. So in this activity, you are going to be doing something called Guess My Equation. You will receive an index card. The other trimates will try to guess the equation by giving input numbers. So if you input a 0, you come out as a 0. If you input a 1, it comes out as a fraction, 1/5. 2 will become 2/5. 3 will become 3/5. 4 will become 4/5. How is this possible? So let's do additive. Can you add anything to 0 so it becomes 0 plus 0? But if you add 0 to 1, how can it become 1/5? So I don't believe it's going to be additive. I think you're going to have to multiply by something. But the question is, what are you multiplying by? Let's see. If you multiply, 1 times what is 1/5? Well, 1/5. Wait, 0 times 1/5 is 0. 2 groups of 1/5 is 2/5. Oh, 1/5. So I think the equation is y equal 1/5 x. Or, if you click on this, what's another way to say it? Y equal x divided by 5. That means the exact same thing because you have x and you're dividing into fifths or x divided 5. Same thing. Next one. 0 to 4, 0 to 4 and 5 tenths. 1 to 5 and 5 tenths. 2 to 6 and 5 tenths. So you input a 3, it comes out at 7 and 5 tenths. Input a 4, comes out 8 and 5 tenths. What can I multiply? Well, you can't multiply 0 by anything to get 4. 0 times any number. So I don't think it's multiplicative. I think it's additive. But what are you adding to 0 to get 4 and 5 tenths? Let's see. 1 plus 4 and 5 tenths. Oh, it is 4 and 5 tenths. So it's y equal x plus 4 and 5 tenths. And if you move this away, you'll see it. And we just move it away so you can see it. All right, so what you're going to do now is you are going to be working with your teammates in order to create, you will be provided with one of the 4 ways to represent an equation. Your task is to create 3 other representations that match your information. First, fill in the information on your task card, then fill in each of the other 3 sections with representation that match your task card. You will repeat this with a new task card on the back. Why is there an arrow here? Let's see. Each pair will get a different rep card and there will be showcasing it. So for example, you may be getting an equation such as this. You may be getting a verbal description like this. You may be getting a table that looks like this. Or you may be getting a graphing like this. So you, for example, what if you get a verbal description? Saria has $7 in her piggy bank and she plans to earn $1 each day by doing a chore. Represent how much money she has after doing her chores for any number of weeks. So yes, she starts off with $7. She plans to earn $1 each day by doing a chore. So let's see. So I would tape that right here about Saria. Well, let's make a table. So X, Y. These represents, I guess, days. And this is the amount of moolah, amount of money. So in 0 days, she started with $7. Each day, she plans to earn $1. So now she'll have $8. The second day, she'll earn another $1, so she'll have $9. The third day, she'll have another $1, she'll have $10. On the fourth day, she'll have another $1, and she'll have $11. So let's represent this using a graph. Each set of ordered pairs that represent independent and dependent variable for it. So a table independent, dependent variable. So which one is the dependent independent? Well, this must be the dependent and this must be independent. But why do you say that? Does the number of days depend on the amount of money she earns? Or the amount of money she earns depends on the number of days? That makes sense, the second one. Because the more money she earns is because the more number of days has passed. So now let's graph this. So this is X, this is Y. This represents the days, and this represents the amount of earned. So in 0 days, she earns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In 1 day, she earns 8. 2 days, she earned 9. 3 days, she earns 10. And 4 days, she earns 11. So is this going to be continuous or discrete? Continuous or discrete? It is going to be discrete. We are not connecting the dot because she's not earning money for half of the day. She's earning money for the whole day. So the equation is, what's the relationship between 0 to 7, 1 to 8, 2 to 9? It is plus 7. So y equal x plus 7. So you're going to do that for each one of these and create a storyline for every one of these. All right. So that is what we are learning today.